This is a follow-up video to the Create Your First Process Mining Project in Minutes video. We're going to be exploring one of the first use cases that many customers like to start with, finding automation opportunities or tools for your AI agents. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up your Process Mining is Fun and Easy, or whatever you called your first project that you created. You can start out by reviewing the summary insights page, the improvement opportunities. You might see something inside of here that might interest you more than this automation opportunities use case. But I want you to see something that's very quick and easy to do that provides a lot of immediate value. You'll jump over here to your analyst workbench and open that up. You'll come to the right, you'll open up the model options. You can expand the connections to get a sense for what your process really looks like. Hopefully it's not as messy as this one. And then depending on how you configure the project, typically if the process configuration record is set up, you might have had both state and assignment group activities added to your model. For this use case, we're simply going to use the state one. So if you have both views, toggle off the assignment group view and hit apply view. If this is the first time that you're running this, you may get a pop-up that says the task is scheduled. If you see that, you'll come over here to the right-hand side, look at your scheduled tasks, wait for that task to complete, and then click View Result. Now, once that completes, you'll come down here to the lower left, select your transitions filter. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to come in here and we're going to say state is in progress, or whatever value you use to represent that the work has started for your workflow. It could be active. I've seen that a few times. And then you're only going to care about the first occurrence of the state being set to in progress. You'll click Add Next Activity, change this directly followed by to eventually followed by. And then you will say state is resolved, or whatever value used to indicate that the work has completed. And we're only going to care about the last time that this record moves into that resolved state. Then we're going to come over to the constraints, and we're going to say start is 1 to align to the first condition, end is 2 to align to the second condition. And then we'll add in a minimum duration of 2 minutes and a maximum duration of, let's say, 30 minutes. And what we're going to be isolating here is any work that takes longer than 2 minutes and less than 30 minutes to move from an in progress to a resolved state. Theory being anything that takes less than 2 minutes, you've already automated it. But if something takes longer than 2 minutes and less than, let's say, 30 minutes to move from an in progress to a resolved state, you haven't automated it yet, but a human's not doing a whole heck of a lot there. There's got to be some self-service, some automations, some integrations, some knowledge articles in that subset of the work. So you'll hit Add Constraint, you hit Apply, and it's going to narrow the map down to just those high volume, low effort work items. So you can come in here. If you click on the arc between in progress and resolved, you'll see with the histogram, these things are between 2 and 30 minutes here. You may have gotten, since this is the first time you're running this, you may have gotten a little pop-up again that says that the task is running. Again, look at your scheduled tasks on the right-hand side of the screen, wait for that to complete, and hit View Result. Once that's completed, you can do a number of different things. You can get down to those records themselves. You can run some work notes analysis, some clustering, some root cause analysis. The best one to, actually I should mention, if you don't see these values here, work notes, clustering, and RCA, they're grayed out. It's a good indication that the process configuration record has not been set up for this. There's another video in this series that walks you through how to set up a process configuration record for the table that you're mining. Please check that video out if these are grayed out. But what I'm going to suggest that you do is click on the request or intent or clustering. Again, you'll get a pop-up that says the task is running. Once it completes, you'll open it up. And what this is going to give you is it's going to look at the short descriptions and the descriptions of the work that you just mined and try to group them based on patterns. So we'll see here, we've got a bunch of these incidents that took between 2 and 30 minutes that have to do with password resets. We have another bunch down here to do with cannot access VPN or VPN issues inside of here. So this will give you some immediate direction in terms of that high volume, low effort work that potentially could be automated. If you drill into this, this will give you the list of records, and you can start to look at the actions that people are taking to solve these types of issues to see if they are great or good automation fits. The other thing that I'll point out here is if you're on Australia, the Australia release, and you've activated the intent and activity skill for process mining, this requester intent will say intent and activity, and it will actually then start to surface the steps based on the work notes that people are entering within these steps here. It's an accelerator, a way to kind of keep you from having to do the clustering and then look at the records. It will actually start to surface that information for you. So again, check out that intent and activity analysis skill if you are a Now Assist customer. The last thing that I'll point out here is more of a how to interpret the data to help you prioritize. The good thing about process mining, or one of the advantages of process mining, is it gives you visibility into the different steps that work is taking through the process. So if we focus in on this arc between in progress and resolved, we can see that these 125 incidents, there's a total of 23 hours of duration packaged up inside of them. If we were to click on this step here from new to in progress, we can see that there's 3 weeks of time packaged up here, 3 weeks of idle time waiting for the work to start for 23 hours of total work time. The great thing about automations or AI agents, if you were to take these automations and turn them into tools for AI agents, is that they don't take smoke breaks. They don't have a backlog. When the work comes in, they just start it. So as we start to automate this stuff in this bucket here, we start to eat away at this idle time for the organization. So that's just another data point I like to point out, because you're going to find a lot of stuff in here. The idle time that you're going to be saving might be a data point you use to help you prioritize which things to automate or turn into AI agents first. So very popular use case, this 2 to 15 or 2 to 30 minutes to help you identify automation opportunities or potentially tools for your AI agents. The next video in this series covers the next most popular use case, which is multi-hop scenarios to help you identify inefficient routing inside of the organization. I highly recommend that you check that video out as well.